So when it comes to cooking burgers outside on the barbecue, there are hundreds of different ways to do it. These days, smash burgers are obviously really popular. Thicker style smoked burgers have become really popular in the last couple of years, and possibly because it's not as exciting, you don't often see a lot of YouTubers cooking burgers directly over charcoal. But in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I cook burgers at home, and for me, it's my perfect burger. It's kind of a combination between a thicker grilled typical burger that you cook over charcoal and a smash burger. It's really simple to do, it's nothing special. I'm sure many of you have been doing it for years and years like this, but I want to share my method with you. Also, my favorite type of burger bun is a potato roll, so I'm going to be making some of those up from scratch as well. So we'll start off with one of the more important elements of a really good burger, and that is the bun. So for me, the absolute best burger bun that you can get is a Martin's potato roll, and I think many people agree with that. If you think about Shake Shack, they have those soft, squidgy Martin's potato rolls. Really, really good for smash burgers. But here in the UK, we don't have Martin's potato rolls on the store shelves. We do have Shake Shack here, which means that if you know where you're looking, you can get hold of Martin's potato rolls, but generally the average person at home won't have them. So I'm going to make some potato rolls from scratch, and for those of you in the UK, stick around because I think I might have found a potential alternative to Martin's in the UK that you can get really, really easily. So the recipe for this will be down below. I got this recipe from Chud's Barbecue in one of his videos, can't remember which, but I think he got the recipe from Brian Lagerstrom, and I pretty much trust anything that Brian Lagerstrom does, so I'm sure these are going to come out good. I am going to make a few changes to it, and I'll talk you through them as I do them. First thing going in is some water, some yeast, some eggs, and the recipe called for 1 egg, but I'm going to go with 1 egg plus 1 egg yolk. I want these to be really, really rich. Some sugar, some salt, dough conditioner. I'm adding some xanthan gum. Now, I don't know why you would use this in a roll that isn't a gluten-free roll, but I saw someone include xanthan gum in their Martin's potato roll replica recipe. They mentioned that it might be helpful in getting that super squishy texture. So I'm sure it's not going to do anything bad. Then another addition of mine is to add some turmeric. That will hopefully add a nice natural yellow tinge to these rolls. Some butter and some mashed potato. So I used instant mashed potato rather than mashing up actual potatoes, and that's because on the back of the Martin's packet they say that they use potato flakes or potato flour, and I wanted to see how this would come out if I used instant mash. I'm not doing this because I think it would work better than real potato. I'm just doing it out of curiosity more than anything. Just gonna get that mixed around just a little bit, and then I'm gonna get this into the mixer. Last thing obviously to go in is our flour. I'm gonna get that down and mix it on setting 1 for as long as it takes for this all to come together. So after about 5 minutes of mixing, that's come together. Not a lot of gluten development yet, but what I'm gonna do is just let it rest there for 15, 20 minutes, something like that. Just in the bowl, covered. I've taken the dough hook off. I'll put a plate over the top and come back to it in a bit. After a little rest, this will go back on, and I'm gonna do a final mix for about 5 minutes or until it's nice and smooth. After a nice little mix, that's come together into a nice smooth dough. So I'm just gonna get that into a bowl, cover that up and let that rest for an hour, maybe. So for those of you that don't live in the UK, you can probably skip ahead this part because it's probably not gonna be that interesting to you. But for those of you in the UK who are familiar with potato rolls, and particularly the Martin's brand, you'll know if you've ever tried to look for them that they are almost impossible to come by. I mentioned earlier that you can get them if you know where to look, and there is a food services company that I believe supplies Shake Shack that will sell them to you, but it's kind of difficult to get them because they really don't like sending you just one full tray. They're a wholesale company, so they'll really try to get you to buy into a monthly or weekly delivery. So that's not really a viable option. I think you have to buy a minimum of like 72 individual rolls, which I do, and I freeze them. However, in my research for this video, I was looking up potato roll recipes, looking to see if there was anyone around selling potato rolls in the style of Martin's, and I came across these. Ted's potato rolls. These look exactly like Martin's, almost suspiciously like Martin's. In fact, when they arrived, I pulled up the recipe for the Martin's potato rolls and compared it to the recipe on the back to see if it matched exactly, because it's ridiculous how much these look and smell like Martin's. They're even packaged exactly the same. Look at these, exactly the same. Hinged as well, just like Martin's. And yeah, they smell exactly the same. They've got the same squishy texture on top, that really overly smooth crust, I guess, with the little wrinkles in it. And honestly, try and spot the difference. So I really thought that they might have been repackaging these, but I really think that they are just making these in the UK, and the price definitely reflects that. So yeah, this could be a really good option for those that are after Martin's here in the UK. And it might seem like I'm making a big deal about this, particularly if you live in the US and this is just something that you find at every store around you. But for those of us in the UK, these have almost been a bit of a unicorn, particularly for those people who love and are really into making burgers, particularly smash burgers. When I've posted pictures on Instagram of me using Martin's potato rolls, I've had, in some cases, 50 messages, people asking me where I got them. And because I didn't want to give away my sources and potentially jeopardize my ability to get them, I didn't share it with too many people. But now, these seem to be readily available. So yeah, I'll definitely be using them. So while our dough rests, we're gonna make up some burger patties for tomorrow. And I'm gonna make them up tonight so they firm up in the fridge in the shape that I leave them. That's gonna help them to stay together when we cook them. And my absolute favorite burger is probably a really well done smash burger. And when I say smash burger, I mean an actual smash burger, not just a squash burger patty. A real smash burger has a really consistent mild reaction all the way across the top, nice and lacy at the sides, really, really crispy. But I don't have a flat top griddle here to do that. In this video, I'm gonna make some grilled burgers. And that's not something you see a lot of people doing. A lot of people are making smash burgers or smoked and seared burgers, and you don't often see a lot of people just grilling straight up burgers on their barbecue. I like to squash them nice and thin beforehand and then sear them off over some charcoal to get that nice flame grilled flavor. And it kind of reminds me of when I was younger and my dad or one of my brother-in-laws were cooking barbecues in the summer. I really like it. So I'm going to prep up some patties to do that tomorrow. So starting off with the beef, what I've got here is some really good quality, about 80-20 lean to fat, coarse ground beef from my local butchers. Normally I'll just use my own brisket trim, but I just made 6 kilograms of sausage, so I'm out of all my trim. And it's important that you use a mince or ground beef that hasn't been played with too much. So this has been ground once, it's got a nice amount of fat in it. It's not gonna be too tough, it's nice and loose and pebbly. And I'm gonna make up some 90-gram balls. Just squash them together a little bit, just lightly pushing them together. And I'm just gonna make up 4 today. Next thing I like to do is form these out into actual patties. And I like to use this wax burger paper, take a ball, another piece on top, slightly crush it, take my burger press and just crush it down to the thickness that I want it. And you'll see that it's not quite as thin as a smash burger would be. It's kind of crumbly around the edge, which is what I want. All those bits will get all charred, hopefully. And that will sit overnight in the fridge along with the rest of these. And come tomorrow, by the time we come to grill them, they should actually maintain their shape on the grill and not fall apart. Another important thing is we're obviously not seasoning these now. If you salt these too early, they might start to take on a bit of a sausage-like texture, and we want a nice, soft, tender burger texture. Crispy on the outside, but nice and tender in the middle. These go onto a tray and into the fridge. So after about an hour, this is plumped up a little bit, and it's got a good color. I'm just gonna get a set of scales. Then I'm just gonna make up some 100-gram dough balls, fold them over, give them a roll, tuck the seams at the bottom. That's 6 burger buns ready to go. And then I'm gonna place them onto a baking sheet with some parchment paper. So I'll cover this in cling film and come back to it in about an hour. So one thing I really love in a burger is pickles. So I'm gonna make some up. And if you watch this channel regularly, firstly, I appreciate that, but also you've probably seen me make pickles a few times. So I'm gonna run through this real quick. Ingredients will be down in the description. Fresh dill, garlic cloves. Ooh. Into a pan, white vinegar, mustard seeds, turmeric. That's gonna give a nice nuclear green color. Salt and sugar. Get a whisk in there, put this onto the heat and bring it up to just about a boil. While that's boiling, I'm gonna throw in some bay leaves. You could use grape leaves. This is gonna help to keep the pickles crunchy. And then I'm gonna mandle in some salad cucumbers, English cucumbers. You could obviously use pickling cucumbers, but these are easier to come by and work just as well. And I like the width of these versus a pickling cucumber. They also look way better on a tray of barbecue. Perfect. Once that's come up to a boil, just pour it straight over your cucumbers. Once these have cooled down, put a lid on them, put them in the fridge, and in 24 hours, they're gonna be perfect pickles. So after a nice little rest, you can see that they're nice and flat. I've patted them down, again, just to make them a little bit wider. And before these go into a 200C or 400F oven for about 20 minutes, I'm gonna give them just a light egg wash. Into the oven they go. So while those burger buns are cooking, we'll make up a simple burger sauce, starting off with some ketchup and some mayonnaise. And this isn't a Big Mac sauce, so this does contain ketchup. Some sugar, some white vinegar, and then I finally diced up some of those pickles that I made yesterday. You could just use pickle relish. This is basically an In-N-Out spread copycat recipe, and it is surprisingly good. Put this in the fridge overnight, flavors will improve. So after about 20 minutes in the oven, these are done. Bottoms are nice and even. They smell really good. Anyway, these can just sit here and cool down. I'm not gonna use these until tomorrow. So it is the next day and it's time to cook up some burgers. Those potato rolls have just been in a Ziploc bag overnight, keeping fresh. So we'll get all our ingredients out, ready to go. Starting off with our firmed up burgers, ready to be grilled. Pickles from the other day, nice and bright green, nice and acidic. Some burger cheese, and if you're in the UK and interested in what kind of burger cheese I like the Tesco's mature slices. They melt really well, they've got a good color to them, and they taste better than most sliced American burger cheese. Our quick burger sauce, kind of an in and out spread style. And of course some lettuce. And for burgers, for me, I absolutely have to go for a round lettuce or a butterhead lettuce. I don't mind iceberg lettuce, but I much prefer this kind of leafy lettuce on a burger. I think it looks better, tastes better. And really the only lettuce I'm definitely not using is a little gem lettuce. Those are bitter and have got pretty big stalks. And lastly, I like some red onion rings. So rings of red onion, not fried onion rings, obviously. So now all we need to do is fire up the barbecue. I'm going to use the PK today. I like the way the coals sit nice and close to the cooking grates to get a good sear. PK grill's fired up. We've got a lot of coals in here for just 2 burgers, but we've got some other things to cook. So just going to hit these with some of my seasoned salt. This is the homemade one from a couple of weeks back. I'm going to go straight down on the grill. A little bit more seasoned salt. This wind is not helping. Give them a flip. Cheese them. Stack them. Let that cheese melt a little bit. Got a Shake Shack size 3.5-inch bun, lightly toasted off. Gonna go down with some of that burger sauce, some lettuce, burger, some pickles, some red onion. Top bun gets a little sauce too. And that, to me, is a good grilled burger. Almost smash burger amount of browning on the burger itself. Good size, not too tall. Get into it and see how it tastes. Oh, this is juicy. That is an outrageously good burger. So I absolutely love a Martin's potato roll, but I actually think these are better because they're a little bit firmer and they're able to take up a lot of this juice and sauce. A lot better than a super squishy Martin's roll. They're just a little bit more dense and yeah, seems to be working well. They're also really delicious. That grilled flavor's coming through. Again, it reminds me of when my dad used to cook burgers over charcoal, probably the stuff that you light the whole bag, or poured lighter fluid all over it. The sauce is good, pretty standard. Pickles, nice and acidic. The red onion, good crunch, good flavor. Really, it's all about that super grilled up, charred up burger with that melty American cheese. Just a really, really good burger. And it literally took no more than 2.5 minutes to cook. They're so thin, they cook really quick. And the reason why I started doing it like this is because my wife prefers much thinner patties, like smash burger patties. She doesn't like thick burgers. And because I don't have a plancha or a flat top griddle, I started pre-crushing the burger patties down so they were nice and thin and then just grilling them off. And that's how I've been doing it for a while. And they come out really good. Almost a smash burger texture on the outside. My local butcher's beef is very good. And honestly, looking at the burger bun itself, you think this is going to be too small. I could probably eat 2 of these, but as I say, they're pretty rich and dense. Plus the burger patties, the cheese, all the other stuff, it is plenty. Perfect size burger. So that's pretty much it. That's how I like to cook burgers on the barbecue. If I'm not making smash burgers or smoked burgers or another kind of burger. And obviously I made this video making everything from scratch, so you can pick and choose what you do recreate and what you don't recreate, or if you want to shop buy everything, go buy everything from the shop. But if you're going to do anything, I would definitely recommend getting some really good high quality beef, crushing it down into a nice thin patty and grilling it straight off. In my opinion, and clearly my wife's opinion, it's much better than just having a big thick burger. So thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It really, really does help me out, and I'll see you next week for another video.